Hi, my little sparks of joy. How is everyone doing? When I woke up this morning in my morning meditation, I was told that I needed to do a little video snippet of what's going on with this new moon that's coming in today. And so let's go ahead and set some sacred space. Today, I'm going to use one of my favorite sprays that not only clears my auric field, but kind of takes all those energetic dust bunnies off, but also brings it to a place of heart because it has rose, actual rose in it, essential oils, and then it has rose quartz. So one of my favorites. We're gonna use sound today. And we're just gonna listen and tone, and as she clears our center and our body, and just removes any negative energy from this space. Doesn't that feel great? I just love bowls. Anyone that works with me knows I'm gonna do some bowl or sound over your auric field. And so this new moon is the new moon in Cancer. And it represents about a new beginnings, new start of things, a new cycle to the way we are. And my guides were kind of showing me this morning that this is now of a doorway kind of opening up that's going to lead us into the next following 6 months. And I'm like, wow, the next 6 months, that's pretty intense. But also, whenever we think of new beginnings, we kind of get like fearful. Like, who wants change? Who wants a new start to things? Who wants that stuff, right? And so it can bring up some anxiety, it can bring up some uncertainty, it can bring up all these different emotions in our field that we're not used to or we don't like, honestly. And so this is not about carrying that in our field, it's about acknowledging that and then acknowledging the grief of letting go of what was so we can step into the new part of what is. So we just kind of went through this Mercury in retrograde and the whopping 2 eclipses, right? That kind of took place over this last month that was kind of like, wow, what is this energy doing? And so honestly, this whole astrological thing that's been happening this last year has really made me take more of a look of, astronomy and astrology and how that affects our energetic fields. We always tend to believe we're just this physical body. And yes, the physical body is very important. It's what houses our energy, it houses our spirit. But we always tend to forget about our energetic body, which is our chakras, our meridians. And so it's learning how to bring in a balance to support the two. And so right now, our energy body has really been being challenged in a way with all these astrology happenings that are going on and the energy here on earth with all the stuff with COVID, the huge loss of life crossing over, with the fears, with the huge loss of jobs and uncertainty. Our energetic field is really being challenged in a huge way. So this is our time to really not only honor our physical body, but also our energetic body. So what does that look like? That means like taking an Epsom salt bath or foot soak. It's clearing your space with sound or really listening to high vibrational sounds to clear your auric field. And it doesn't even have to be something that you hear directly, like when you listen to your favorite songs. As long as you can hear the tone out there, it's moving and it's reacting with the energy field in the space. So it can be really low as you're doing your chores, as you're moving about your day. I tend to put mine on at night, and that's what I fall asleep to. And it's crazy because I'll always wake up on a certain chakra that I know I need to work on, and I'm like, oh yes, I know, I'm working on it. And so it's always one of those things to bring in this other support to your energetic field. One of the things that they wanted me to talk about was the different herbs that we use to bring in support. So we have our beautiful sage. Everyone knows sage is one of my favorite herbs to work with. And then we also have Paulo Santos. which is a sacred wood in Brazil and the South Americas. It's a beautiful, they consider it a holy wood. And then also, I don't want to forget, this is white sage that's been covered in dragon's blood resin. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But first, white sage. And so why is white sage so important in clearing? When I see the energy, so always think of it like when you're physically cleaning your house, you use bleach, you use this disinfectant, and it kind of just clears and gets all the gunk and mold and germs, and it does this deep clean, right? Well, sage is the same way, but it's the same way energetically. It clears our space, it clears our energy field, it clears everything. And I mean, it clears everything. And so if you've really set on high intention of love, light, and all this other beautiful energy in the space, and you just feel there's a little thing off, I wouldn't really so much use sage as much, because sage clears everything out. So I would actually use Paulo Santos, because Paulo Santos is this beautiful wood, and it just clears the negativity out. It just clears a nice little, like I see it like a nice gentle breeze in the room, kind of shifting and moving and doing a nice sweep and saying, oh, you're not allowed in here, time to go. And it's so important too, like when you clear your space, open a window, open a door, give that energy a space to go, that it's released to. Because if you're doing it and you're just moving it in your space, it's going to go somewhere else in your house. It's going to move into a different direction. So it's so important you open a door or a window or do something like that to get the energy out. So think of sage as a major bus cleaner and stuff like that. And if you're a healing practitioner, it's so important you use something to clean between each client. Clean your space, clean your auric, so you're not getting energetic cords attached to you, that they don't have cords attached to them, that they're not carrying anything with them but the benefits of the session and that energy. I hope that makes sense. And so always clear yourself after things, and always clear your tools that you work with. Like if you wear, like I love the selenite crystal stone. So I'll use her, like if I'm just feeling, a little bit off, I'll just use her over my auric field, my crown, and kind of just reset. But I always clear her, or I put her in a bowl of sea salt, and she stays in there for 24 hours till I can use her again. So think about those different ways, and to bring in this other energetic support into your space as we're moving through this beautiful new moon energy. So this new moon in Cancer is kind of pulling all these forces close to home. It's like our emotional issues are coming up, personal matters are coming up. And so I see it as all these little bits and pieces of our shadow self are really presenting itself. The stuff that we tend to kind of shove down and ignore maybe, or kind of, hide away under other things. They're kind of crawling to the surface and saying, hey, really take a chance to look at me. Look at all these different things that I want to shift and that I want to move through and let go. There may be pieces of forgiveness that you're holding on to, some anger with a relationship or even with a job. It could be stuff around feeling sadness, feeling that aloneness, especially during this whole COVID time. A lot of us are feeling alone and disconnected. And it's learning how to acknowledge those pieces and seeing that they're there. And when we acknowledge it, we can start processing and let it go. And so that's what I really see with this energy, with these shadow pieces of ourselves coming up. So you may feel like you're on this emotional roller coaster. You're going up and you're going down and you're coming up. And why are these old people contacting me? And those pieces are all to show some of the things that we may be still holding on to or we haven't let go of. And it's just Spirit's way of saying, hey, here's a little sign to kind of show you this is something that we need to shift. We need to acknowledge, and we need to kind of work through in those pieces. So this new moon is also about honoring our inner emotions and feelings that are going on. So it's about connecting to that deeper part of your inner self. So paying more close attention to your feelings, your emotional responses to things. Like, I can't control if something's going to happen. I can't control like someone's reaction, but what I can control is my reaction to them. I can control how the emotion that I'm going to give and feed it. Am I going to feed it more anger? Am I going to feed it more, disconnection? No, I can feed it with love. I can feed it with my own centering and balancing. If I feel like I can't go to a place of love, I can feed what I'm going to do for myself. And so that right now we're going to see more and more of that. I'm being guided, especially around the end of August, mid-September. We're going to see kind of an uplifting of some more shadow pieces and some more societal things that are going to come to fruition. So I just ask you to really work on these pieces of yourself, and always ask, it's always about my response and what I give it. And so remember, we can't change anyone's perspective or change the way that they're going to do something, because the only person that can change anything is ourselves, right? And so that's what this piece is for this new moon, is talking about what parts of those pieces are you going to look at that you can control and you can respond to. So maybe that's learning to go into, I'm feeling so much more stress. I'm feeling this, the energy is so anxiety provoking right now. So what are some things that you can control about that? It's going to go earth outside, go connect, get your feet into the grass. And we're having such these beautiful, warm, sunny days. Feel that sun coming on to your body and into your skin, and embrace her and just connect to that energy and just breathe. Remember, our breath is our prana, life force energy. It's what we take in, and we breathe and release. We're taking that energy in. We're balancing ourselves. We're calming ourselves. Okay. We can also do, and I know meditation is hard right now. I get it. I've been struggling with, doing the longer ones I've been doing, and just honoring that I'm doing shorter, smaller ones. I wake up and do breath work every single morning to connect to that life force energy. And other ways you can find balancing, drinking water, honoring those pieces. Water is such a sacred energy force in our field that we can even change the molecules of the water that we're taking in to help bring support to our physical and our energetic body. So what I have on my water bottles is I have love and I have energy. Because right now, kind of moving through this energetic field that we're in right now, it feels like you're kind of walking in tar or mud. And so I need a little bit more energy to kind of move through that. And so it's like honoring those pieces of that. That's what I can control. I can control those pieces for myself. I can't control what everyone else is going to do, but these is what I control for myself. So it's like looking at those different pieces of what your feelings are coming in. So I encourage you, get your little high vibrational pin, write down your feelings, write down your intentions, write what you want to move forward in. And so tonight's new moon is really about planting those seeds of a new beginning. What does that look like for you? What do you really want to call into your life? Remember, a like attracts like. So if you believe things are going to be negative, if you believe things are not going to change, then that's what's going to be answered for you. You need to go to a different way of thinking of it, like, okay, I'm opening this door of possibilities. I'm planting these new seeds of intentions. And how will this look for me? And don't be tied to how it's going to come in. Because I'm going to tell you, spirit doesn't like to come through the front door. It likes to come through the little cracks and crevices. It likes to come through the chimney sweep. It likes to come in different ways. It doesn't come in the way we expect it. And when we let go of those expectations, we open up this whole new world of possibilities. I have right now been working on the 3, 6, 9 Tesla manifestation, and I'm on day 18, and I can't tell you the abundance it's been bringing into me. I've been having steady sessions. I've been having, steady orders on my website. I've been having, went out and someone paid for my dinner, some stranger, pay it forward. And I'm like, a blessing, and I always give gratitude, even for the small things. Even if someone gives me $1 discount at the store, that to me is a huge abundance and blessing. And so I keep writing it down. Every morning I wake up and I do, it's a layer of intentions with each one. And I'll do something later on around manifestation. If that doesn't call you, there's so many different ways we can bring in new beginnings and planting those seeds. So tonight I really ask you, with this new moon energy, how are you going to bring this in? So get your pen, get your nice little pen, and write down your intentions. Make them very clear, make them very concise. When we leave it too broad, it makes it those pieces for energy to kind of get stuck and convoluted, and we don't want that. So my guides are telling me I forgot to go over the dragon's blood. And so why is this one different, right, than the sage? I like the dragon's blood because dragon's blood amplifies anything that we're working with. So it's going to amplify the energy of the sage. It will amplify our intentions that we're setting for tonight, or the seeds that we're planting tonight. It will amplify all that. And so that's why I use a lot of dragon's blood. When I go into like the crazier house clearings where it's a lower vibration, a lower energy, the energy that hasn't seen the light of spirit, I will use dragon's blood because it just amplifies all the herbs and medicine that I'm working with, and it helps amplify my energy to get in a higher vibration to take on that energy. So that's why dragon's blood is such a beautiful resin and tool to kind of work with when you're doing any of that. Everyone always thinks it's like the amplifying of the sage, but no, it's also the amplification of your intentions or your release or anything that you're putting forth. For some of my little witchy friends who do a lot of spell work, it helps amplify that ceremony and ritual that you're doing. And especially now that we kind of need to be in a higher vibration and a higher state, it's just a beautiful herb and resin to work with. So tonight I'm going to ask you, stay grounded through your feelings. Write out your feelings, acknowledge them, give them a place and a voice, okay? Don't get carried away with the fears and anxiety. Even though now is a time that it feels like it's intense, I get it. Acknowledge it and release it. Don't stay in it, don't stay stuck in it. Do plant your seeds tonight of your intentions for your future and what that does look like for you. Be very specific of what you want to call in. And do reset those old goals that you set for yourself the last few months. And also, don't get stuck in the idea of how it needs to look, right? My process is going to be completely different than your process. And I hope that you go into this new space with ceremony and ritual and you find your own, that it looks uniquely like you and your spirit, like a beautiful snowflake. We're not meant to be like these cookie cutters, all the same exact. That's what I love about spirit, that they made us so uniquely different. And that's why we each have a different tone in our spirit, is because we're supposed to have that different expression. And the same with when we do our own ceremonies and rituals. It's supposed to be yours. It's your expression and nobody else's. Okay, we're going to end today with this beautiful drum that Wayne Matthew made. Oh my God, just look at this thing. He has copper in the center of the handle, right? Because copper is a conduit of energy. She is only the one that I have left out of all the drums All the other ones found their heart home, so I'm so excited through that. So if anyone's worked with drums, they're just a beautiful balancing, and they clear the energy and they help bring you get centered. I always feel like they help you really connect to the beat of our mother. And so whenever you work with a drum, you always want to get your hand and your hand chakras, and you introduce. I always go to a place of gratitude for the drum and its energy, and I just rub my hand and say thank you and that I love it. And then you find its beat.